All right. I'm looking at stealing those. They're very nice. I do suffer from kleptomania, and when it gets real bad, I take something for it. But thank you. Tip your waiter. I guess this is kind of a love affair for me. It's interesting situation. I was coaching at the University of Wyoming in 1971 when they made the ridiculous decision to drop soccer, men's soccer, as one of their sports. And so we were in Laramie with 3 kids under 5 and no job. Try that one for making you optimistic. Didn't deter us. A year later, the job at Davis and Elkins College in West Virginia, who had a great reputation for producing winning teams, called, and I interviewed and got the job. I did get looked at funny because it was the day that I was flying back. I was in the National Airport in D.C., and it was the day that whatever the character's name was that resembled me at the time shot who was the governor of Alabama at the time. Yeah, that guy, he got shot. So at any rate, we came there, and our first experience in West Virginia wasn't very good. We arrived here and waited 1 day, 2 day, 3 day for our goods to come from Wyoming, and it turns out that the gentleman that was driving the truck filled with our goods had decided to quit the company and abandon the truck somewhere in Tennessee. So it was not a great start to our time. But things went well at D&E. We, a few years later, recognized the fact that we had kids, and there were a lot of kids that we wanted to expose to the joys of playing soccer and communicating with other people and being part of the gang that we had enjoyed, or that I had enjoyed, growing up in St. Louis, which incidentally is way better soccer town than Trenton, New Jersey, Bob, so get over it. I told you I would say that. Another St. Louisan in the crowd that asked me to say that. At any rate, we got together with some people in the community in Elkins and started a youth soccer league, and we had 130 kids the first fall, and then by the spring it was 200 and some odd. And we did get federal government help, which isn't unusual in West Virginia occasionally, but we took over the lawn at the Monongahela National Forest building and put goals on it and made the game happen. Little kids playing caught everybody up in it, and they got the fever. We got grants for uniforms and things like this from everybody, the Kiwanis, the Fraternal Order of Police, and things like that. And so within a couple years, we had a club team, group of players from that league that wanted to play and actually play opponents outside of a rec league in Elkins. And in order to do that, we needed to be registered with US Soccer or USYSA. And so at that point, we made application and signed off on the paperwork to join USYSA officially as the West Virginia Youth Soccer Association. So signing the paperwork in my living room in Elkins in '78, and then seeing what this has grown into now is amazing for me. No doubt about that. Yeah. Makes me happy. It's watching your kid grow up and see what it looks like as an adult. And believe me, this is what it looks like. The first moment I had of that, I was coaching the Olympic Development Program in Region 2, which is the Midwest, and Region 2 and Region 1, which is the East that West Virginia is in, traveled together with their under 16 teams, I believe, boys teams, to England to play in the England Schools Festival. And so we would get there, it'd be over Easter weekend and the week after. We would get there, we'd check into the dorms, and then we'd play a game or two in London or the London area and then go on to the site. First night in London, we get there, we get out of the hotel, we're walking, and both teams in their sweats and everything, they're all fired up about it. We're walking out, and we go to cross the street, and the light's against us, so we stop, and there's a kid from Region 1 standing next to me, and this is 15 years, I guess, after I left here. And I said to him, "Where are you from?" He said, "West Virginia." I darn near cried. I was so taken and so proud, and I think he was the first player to make the regional Olympic development team from the state of West Virginia. And he was from, I don't know, couldn't tell you the guy's name. He was from up Wheeling, Weirton area, up in the Panhandle. So those are some of my experiences with West Virginia and West Virginia youth soccer. But I always have great memories. My kids went from being very little to being on the edge of junior high while we lived in West Virginia, and they got to roam the woods and things like that were behind our house, and they love it. They still cherish it to this day, and they're middle-aged people now, along with me. We're both middle-aged. About a month ago, I pulled up behind a car not far from my house in Evansville, Indiana, and I looked, vanity license plates are everywhere, and people have all sorts of stuff and names and all of this. And I look, and I'm trying to figure out, what in the heck is this guy got? W space BG space VA, West by God, Virginia. I'm sitting there. By the time the guy is honking behind me, I'm laughing so hard I wouldn't even drive off. So it was good, and it's good. It's been a love affair for me to have been part of the growth of the game within this state, both as a coach and in helping players enjoy it, and reaching out. People didn't know what the whole youth soccer experience was about, and now you know whether you like it or not. But big thanks, and it's harder here than it is in a lot of places for you parents that have to transport kids all over creation in order to get to practice and get to games. And until they're 16 probably, you're doing it. They're not doing it. So that's a good thing. Big thing, earlier this evening, the young lady was up here talking about coaching education. I have done that for the state of Indiana. I did some of that in the state of West Virginia before I left. But for the state of Indiana and for U.S. soccer all over the country since 1980. And the best thing I can tell you is, if you want to make an impact on the game that the kids that are part of your life, that they love, then support coaching education, because those are the people that are playing it forward. Those are the people that are helping your kids achieve what they want to achieve and helping them get better at a game that they love. That's really, really important.